Good morning. Today's story is called Flashing Fire Engines. I'm going to be reading it to you in our sitting room, where Sophie is currently playing with... What are you playing, Sophie?
With Little Lamb.
Playing with Little Lamb. Okay. So, super. Flashing fire engines. Big, bold fire engines waiting day and night, ready for a rescue or a blazing fire to fight. As soon as there's a fire alarm, the engine starts to roar. The firefighters jump aboard. It rumbles out the door. Watch the engine speeding on its daring dash. Hear its siren screaming. See its bright lights flash. In helmets, fireproof coats and trousers, boots so big and strong, the crew are dressed and ready as the engine zooms along. When the engine finds the fire, it quickly pulls up near. The crew jump out, unroll the hose, and get out all the gear. The hose has got a nozzle that shoots a jet of spray. It squirts right at the blazing flames and sizzles them away. The water tank is empty soon, so where can more be found? The engine's pump can pull it up from pipes below the ground. The fire is hot and roaring, and it makes a lot of smoke. The firefighters put on masks, otherwise they'd choke. The ladder rises upward, it reaches for the sky. A fire engine's ladder stretches up so very high. Sometimes there's a platform right up at the top. It waits beside the window, then into it you hop. At last the fire's extinguished, the flames are all put out. Lower the ladder, roll the hose, hooray, the fire crew shout. Back inside the station, the crew can take a break, but the fire engine's ready and it's waiting wide awake. Fire engine bits. Fire engine bits. Helmet. This is a hard hat that protects the firefighter's head. Fireproof coats and trousers. These are made from special material that does not burn easily and protects firefighters from the fire. Masks and tanks. We cannot breathe in smoky air, so firefighters carry clean air in tanks on their backs, and this flows into their masks. Water tank. This is inside the middle of the fire engine and holds water to fight the fire. Some fire engines carry foam too. Pump. This sucks water from the tank and pushes it out through tubes called hoses. It also gets water from underground through big taps in the street called hydrants. This hose connects to the pump. Now, I learned this week that fire engine pumps were one of the big inspirations when they were first learning to make space rockets. And that the way that the pump in a fire engine pushes the water through the hose is what inspired the way that a space rocket first of all pushes through a very thin funnel to force the energy out really quickly at the back, and also how it actually pumps the fuel into the rocket, which I thought was really interesting. Now today, I thought we'd talk a bit about fire hoses, because a fire hose is really, really clever, and it works by having a very thin end. And there can be lots of water behind, and the water gets pushed up against that thin end, and as it's pushed up against it, it has to squash into a really tight gap in order to burst out the other side. And as soon as it can stop being squashed, it bursts out really, really quickly. So we're going to try and make some fire hoses today. And the way we're going to make our hoses is with a plastic bottle and either a screw or a nail or a drill. Okay? Do you want to come and help?
Just quiet.
Do you want to come and help? Okay. So, here we are. First one I'm going to try and do with a screw and a hammer. I'm going to put my screw onto the middle of the bottle cap and hammer it in until it goes through. I'm going to just take the cap off to check that it has gone all the way through, and it has. And I'll pop that back on the top like this. Okay, Now for this one, I'm going to try a slightly bigger hole, so I'm going to use my drill. If you don't have a drill, you can still use a screw, just screw it in a bit further. My drill needs its battery charging, doesn't it? That's right. It is. It's called Jeremy Drill. There. Okay. So you can see we've got one hose with a tiny hole and one hose with a bigger hole. I wonder which one will work best. Shall we go and find out? We've set up our fire hoses, we've filled them up with water, and now all we need to do you want to come out? Come on.
I might get so wet.
You won't get wet. Look, it's sunny now, and we're pointing the water away from you. Okay, good girl. Come on, one more step. Good girl. What we're going to do is, if we squeeze the bottle, because it's got a little hole in the top, as we squeeze it, whee! It squirts. Is that fun?
Yeah.
And with the big hole, if we squeeze that,
Fun.
and we've got some special targets that Daddy made earlier while you were asleep. Do you want to try and shoot the targets with the bottle? Should we have a go? No? Want Daddy to try? See what I mean? I thought this would be like the most fun thing in the world, and Sophie would rather go inside and play pairs. So I'm going to try and hit these targets with my fire hoses, because I'm hopeful that some of the children in my class might think this is fun too. Oh, not quite. Try a bit closer. I'm soaking it, but it's not getting through. I wonder if the slightly wider one might have a better chance. Oh yeah, that's better. I think the one with a slightly wider hole. So there's loads of ideas you could try with your hose pipe. You could try different size nozzles on the end, and if you find a nice big area with dry floor, you could measure how far the water travels from where you squirt it out of the hose to where it actually lands on the pavement and see which one can shoot the furthest. Or you could maybe set up some of your toys along a little wall and try and shoot them off the wall with your water hose. It's entirely up to you. There's loads of cool things we can do once we've built our own hose pipes.